Donald Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-Men.
The Junior G-Men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action.
Stand by. All Junior G-Men, stand by. Stand by for the thrilling details of the secret of the locked room. Calling all Junior G-Men. Stand by for report of Junior G-Man Bob Stewart concerning...
The secret of the locked room.
Report number 972 in 3 parts is given by Operator Bob Stewart of Wendover, Part 2.
Now, my dad is a lawyer and has as a client a Miss Martha Van Cleef, who lives about 30 miles from Wendover with her nephew Paul and an old butler named Graves. Well, several weeks ago, Paul Van Cleef came into the office and asked Dad to ride out to see his aunt because he was worried about her. He seemed to think that she was, well, as he put it, imagining things. Mainly that the house was haunted. Dad agreed to make the trip and took me along with him. On the way, he told me that Henry Van Cleef, Paul's father, hadn't been very ambitious. He preferred staying around the house and playing his violin to working, and had finally been disinherited because of his laziness. He never got along very well with his sister Martha, and until the day of his death blamed her for his being disowned. Well, after we'd arrived and had eaten dinner, Paul's aunt told her story. She said that every night for the past several weeks, she'd heard a violin softly playing one of her brother Henry's favorite tunes, and his voice saying that he'd come back from the dead to haunt her. After she'd finished her story and gone to her room, Paul Van Cleef, Dad, and I went to the library. We talked the whole thing over, and then, all of a sudden...
What's that?
I don't know, but...
Gee whiz, listen! Listen!
It's Aunt Martha. She's screaming for help. Follow me. Aunt Martha! Aunt Martha! She doesn't answer. There isn't a sound. She must be... What's that? Who's there?
It is I, sir, Graves. I heard the scream, sir, and I thought...
Of course you did. We all did.
Yes, sir.
Well, come along, up these stairs.
Yes, sir.
And hurry.
Yeah, very good, sir.
You coming, Stewart?
I'm right behind you.
Gee whiz, Dad, what do you suppose happened?
Well, I don't know, son, but we'll soon find out.
Now, hold it. Hold it, wait a second. Aunt Martha! Aunt Martha!
Well, we'd better not waste any time, Van Cleef. We'd better go right into her room.
Yes, of course. Come along, follow me.
Shall I come too, sir?
Yes, of course, Grace. Come along.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Now, just a moment. Aunt Martha! Aunt Martha! Are you all right? Are you... Try the door, Graves. Hurry.
Yes, sir, at once, sir. It seems to be unlocked, sir.
Good. Come on in, all of you. We'll see if... Good heavens.
What's the matter? What?
There, on the floor, lying beside that... But hurry. Give me a hand, someone. Help me lift her up on the bed.
You better not touch her, sir.
Not to touch her.
No, sir.
And why not?
Well, she might be dead, sir.
Dead.
Yes, sir, and the police would want to see that the body had not been disturbed, sir.
The body? Well, wait a moment. Wait a moment.
Gee whiz, do you suppose she
Quiet,
got...
son, quiet.
She's breathing. She's alive. She's not dead.
Hey,
Do you hear, Graves? She's not dead.
My mistake, sir. Sorry, sir.
Get the smelling salts. Get some water, some ice water, and everything else
Yes,
we need.
sir, at once, sir. At once, sir.
Well, soon after Graves returned with the smelling salts and things, Miss Van Cleef came too. Then, as soon as she began to feel a little stronger...
He's right, Paul. He's right.
Who's right, Aunt Martha? Who's right?
Your father, Paul. Everything he said is true.
He spoke to you again? You heard his
Yes,
voice?
Paul. And I'll hear it again and again.
But he's dead, Aunt Martha. You can't
Oh,
possibly...
don't you see? You don't believe me, Paul. You don't believe me.
I want to believe you, Aunt Martha,
But you
I...
can't. And you never will. Because you'll never hear his voice. He'll never speak to anyone but me.
How do you know, Miss Van Cleef? How can you be sure?
He told me so tonight. Just before his picture fell from the wall.
His picture? That large one in the heavy frame?
Yes, that large one. It overturned the chair.
That must have been the crash we heard.
Yes, that's right.
Is that why you screamed, Miss Van Cleef?
Yes. Yes, that's why I screamed. I was so frightened, so afraid. But I mustn't admit that, must I? I mustn't show my fear. If I do, you'll think I'm crazy. You'll think I'm crazy.
Well, not at all, Miss Van Cleef, but, well,
Oh, I can see it in your eyes. You think I'm losing my mind. And who knows? Maybe you're right. It's all so real, though. I can hear him so clearly, just as if he were here in this very room. And that tune he plays on the violin, it's always the same, always the same. Tonight again, I just turned out the lights and was sitting in that chair, there by the window. The moon seemed so bright, and then suddenly, as it passed beneath the clouds, music again. Same old tune, same old tune. Oh, Henry, Henry, why are you doing this to me? Why and how long is it to go on? How long? Am I never again to know a moment's peace, a night of... Stop. Oh, the laugh again. His laugh.
We meet again, dear sister. We meet again.
Yes. Yes, Henry, we meet again. Oh, Henry, wherever you are, I beg you.
You've lost your mind, dear sister. Amusing, isn't it? Very amusing.
Oh, Henry, if only you'd listen.
You're beginning to doubt yourself, are you not, dear sister? You're beginning to doubt yourself.
Yes, yes, I am. I'm beginning
You
to...
think it's strange, do you not, that no one else has ever heard my voice? That to you alone that privilege has been given?
Yes, yes, I think it's...
Well, rest assured, dear sister, no one else shall ever hear me. Only you. Only you.
Oh, please, please, Henry, if only you'd come...
Farewell, dear sister, until we meet again. Until we meet again.
Wait. The music again. The same old tune again and again. The same old tune.
And you still haven't seen him? He's never appeared to you?
Never.
Gee whiz. It sure is funny, all right.
Yes, very. Look here, Van Cleef.
Yes, Mr. Stewart.
In view of what's happened, I'd like to spend the night here. That is, of course, if you can put us up.
Why, that'll be a pleasure, Mr. Stewart. And you have no idea what a relief it'll be to have someone else in the house. Graves.
Yes, sir.
You'll prepare the guest room in the west wing.
Very good, sir. Immediately, sir.
And now, if you don't mind, I'd like to call my wife.
Why, of course.
I'll tell her that Bob and I are going to spend the night here, and that she doesn't need to expect us home until sometime tomorrow afternoon.
And later that night, after Dad and I had gone to the room that had been prepared for us, we got to talking about...
I can't understand it. I just can't understand it.
Neither can I, Dad. There just doesn't seem to be any reason for it.
That's just it. There isn't any reason.
You know, Dad, I wonder if that voice would follow Miss Van Cleef wherever she went.
What do you mean?
Well, suppose we were to swap rooms with her, just for tonight.
You mean...
If only we three, Miss Van Cleef, you and I, knew about the switch, and if the voice followed her, then we'd know for sure that she's either hearing things or that she's, well...
Or that she's mentally unbalanced.
Yeah, that's it.
And you believe that there's something about that room that's responsible for...
I don't know what to believe, Dad, but, well, gee whiz, it's a possibility.
Yes, it is. A good possibility.
Then you'll try it? You'll swap rooms with Miss Van Cleef and...
Well, she'll agree, son. It's up to her. Now, here's what we'll do. As soon as we're sure that everyone's gone to bed, we'll...
And a little later, after everything was all quiet, Dad and I slipped down the corridor to Miss Van Cleef's room. After we'd explained the whole plan...
It wouldn't do any good. Not a bit.
But you can't be sure of that, Miss Van Cleef. You can't
I
be...
am sure. Henry's voice would follow me. It will always follow me right to my grave. I can't escape it.
No, of course not. Not if you won't try.
I will try. Anything. Anything within reason.
Well, then agree to this switch. You go to your room and let us stay here.
You're not afraid.
Afraid of what? The voice of a ghost? No, Miss Van Cleef, we're not afraid. And if you let us stay here, we may be able to prove that there's no reason for you to be afraid.
Well, oh, very well. I'll do as you say.
Now look, you'll have to be very careful. The whole success of this plan depends on your not being seen by anyone. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Good. You see, Miss Van Cleef, if that voice follows you to another room, if it speaks to you there, then we'll be sure that, well, that it's really the voice of a ghost.
Or that I am insane. Yes, Mr. Stewart, I understand. I understand perfectly.
Well, the switch was made without a bit of trouble. Miss Van Cleef went to our room and we stayed there in hers. Later, as Dad and I were talking...
Well, how about it, son? Do you feel like turning in?
Well, I don't know, Dad. I'm afraid I don't feel very much for sleeping.
I see. You're not afraid.
Oh, no, Dad, not a bit. It's just that, well, I'm just not sleepy, that's all.
I see. Well, I'm not very sleepy myself. We'll just... Oh, doggone.
What's the matter, Dad?
I just happened to remember. I left my pipe down there in the library. I can do without smoking it, of course, but I'd hate to have anything happen to it. It's the one your mother gave me last Christmas.
Want me to go down and get it for you?
Oh, no, son. I'd rather get it myself. That is, if you're not afraid to stay up here alone. How about it?
I'm not afraid. You better be careful, though. I mean that you're not seen leaving or entering this room. That'd spoil everything.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it? Well, I'll be careful, and I won't be gone long either. I'll be back just as soon as I can possibly know.
And Dad hadn't been out of the room more than 3 minutes when all of a sudden... Gee whiz, music. Where's it coming from? Who's playing it? It's creepy, too. Kind of gives you the chills. Just the way Miss Van Cleef described it. Gosh, I wish Dad were here. It stopped. Gee whiz, that laugh. I'm scared.
We meet again, dear sister. We meet again.
Holy cats, that voice. It's talking to Miss Van Cleef, and she's not here. She's not here.
Calling all Junior G-men to report at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-man Bob Stewart to report to Director Donald Peterson at the next meeting on this station to continue report concerning...
The secret of the locked room.